What's going on, YouTube peeps and barbecue freaks? Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, I'm going to do something that I've never done before. In fact, I don't even know how this is going to turn out. I found a recipe, a technique on removing bones from a rack of ribs. Once they're cooked, we're going to give it a try. If it works out, then we're going to make some rib sandwiches, almost like the McRib, but better. So I don't know how this is going to turn out. I've never done before. If all else fails, at least we'll have some tasty ribs. So let's get started. All right, so what I have here is a rack of St. Louis ribs. To save time, I went ahead and trimmed them up some, removed the membrane. So what we need to do in order to, again, this is something I've never done before. We're going to give it a try. We'll see if it works. If not, at least we'll have some good ribs to eat. So what we need to do is find these bones here, and you want to make a slit about a ½ an inch deep, about halfway through on each side of these bones. Let me get over here so you can see better. Just on each side of these bones. This way, once we get some pullback, we should be able to just take these bones and twist them right out. That's the goal anyway. If it doesn't happen that way, oh well. So, see if you can make that out. So what I've done here is I made a cut on this side of the bone and on this side of the bone. So there's your bone there. I'm going to do the rest of these here, all the way up to that knuckle. Be careful not to go all the way through though. So we just want to, just like that. So I'm going to get the rest of these cuts made, and we're just going to kind of come all the way down the rib and cut alongside each one of these bones. Alright, so I got them all cut up, and this is kind of what it looks like all the way down. So we're going to season these on both sides, and we're going to get them on the Weber. And after the season has time to set, and right before placing them on, I'll show you how I have the Weber set up. Alright, I got the ribs rubbed down. I'm using 2 different rubs, and then I've added some brown sugar on top. We're going to cover this up, put it in the fridge until this brown sugar caramelizes. What that's going to do is kind of lock that rub down onto the rib. Once we take them out, we'll give them one last coating, dusting a rub, get them on the pit. Alright, so ribs have been sitting a little bit. You can see that brown sugar starting to caramelize. So there's a little bit more to go, but I'm going to go ahead and dust it, give it another quick dusting. And that should do it. So let this sit for just a couple minutes, and then they're going on the pit. Alright, so the way I have my Weber set up is I'm using my baskets, my Weber baskets. I have one on that side, one on this side. They're both full of unlit coals, and then I added 4 lit coals to each basket. So I put 4 lit in here, 4 lit in here. We're going to use a minion method. I'm going to place a rib right in the middle. Now we are going to have to watch these because the meat is exposed to the heat more compared to using the Smokinator, but I think it's going to be just fine. So I'm using hickory and pecan. So the ribs are ready to go. I'm going to bring them out, place them on, and then after the first hour, every 15 minutes, we're going to spritz them with apple juice just to kind of keep them moist. So I will pick back up probably about halfway through the cook. All right, so the ribs have been on for a little over an hour. They're actually cooking a lot faster than I expected, which is fine by me. So what I've done here is I've just laid down some honey, some brown sugar, and some butter. I'm going to lay down a little bit of tiger sauce. And then I'm going to hit it with a little bit of, I'm using the Daigle's rib sauce. Really, really good barbecue sauce. I'll lay that down. I'm going to get the ribs, lay the ribs on top, and then repeat the process on the back side. So I got the ribs here. You know who has them make an appearance when he smells these ribs. This is what they're looking like so far. So pretty happy with that. Nice color. So we're just going to put this meat side down. Not sure if you can make it out just yet, but where I put those slices, those slits, you can see that bone starting to come through. So we're just going to repeat this whole process on the back side. We're going to hit it with some honey, some butter, some brown sugar, and get them back on the pit. All right, so we just repeated this process on the back side. We're going to wrap these up, put them back on the pit, and we'll check them in about an hour. It should be ready in about an hour. So we're going to get this bad boy wrapped up, and I will pick back up once we pull them off the pit. All right, these ribs have been on for a little over an hour. Take a look at them. I did flip them back up, meat side up, about halfway through. We've got some great pullback on these bones, which is exactly what we're looking for. Can you see that there, the back end? You see these bones starting to protrude out. That is perfect. So, I think we're going to go ahead and try to pull these bones out. They should come out pretty easily. So you get a look at that. So let's see. Oh yeah, see that here? That bone just came right out. Give this one a little twist. Perfect. Just want to twist it back and forth a little bit. Pull it right out. Clean. I think this technique is going to work. This rack is staying intact so far. These bones are coming right out. Ooh, still hot, very, very hot. So all I'm doing is twisting these bones, and they kind of come loose right on their own. Ooh. Let me get the rest of these pulled out. It's just about 2 or 3 more, and then I'll pick back up. Let me get this 1 second. All right, I got all these bones out. We're gonna flip it over. And there you have it. I mean, you have like a whole rack of ribs without the bone. Not too shabby. I'm gonna hit it with a little bit of rub, a little more rub. We're gonna put it back on the pit for just about 10 minutes. Let the sauce set with that rub on there, and they'll be done. Actually, let's hit it now with this rub. Just to add a little more flavor. That's the same rub I started with. That's it. Get these bad boys back on the pit. And then we'll go to make some brisket or some rib sandwiches. All right, so I have the whole rack here, bones removed, and I'm just gonna cut this into about 4 pieces. Well, let's see if I do that, and then actually, you know what? I think I'm just gonna cut it into. Let's just cut it right down the middle. I don't want to cut it too small into pieces. That's what we're working with. The back end, it's kind of what that looks like. I don't know if you can make that out too well, but this is going to make for an excellent rib sandwich. Now for the bun, I am using a King's Hawaiian burger bun. I think the sweetness of that bun with the rib, oh, it's going to be excellent. Anyway, I got some corn on the grill that I'm just waiting on. Once that's done, we'll plate this bad boy up and get to tasting. All right, so I have everything done. I've got some roasted corn here with some butter, salt, pepper, very, very simple. I have the rib here, half a rack. What I'm going to do is all the stuff that I added in the foil, you know, the butter and honey and brown sugar and all that, that's this here. I just poured it into the bowl. And just for some flavor, some extra flavor, I'm just going to dip this rib. Now the sauce is still hot because I warmed it up, so that's why I'm wearing my glove. Just going to dip this in there. Place it right back in there. I'm going to hit it with just a little bit of extra rub, just because. And that is it. Got my rib sandwich. Again, I'm using the King's Hawaiian bun. I think this is going to go perfect with it. The sweetness of the bun, the sweetness of the rib, it's going to be perfect. So that's it. Look at that. Yum. Let's taste this bad boy. All right, this bad boy is done. Look at that. Yum. It's huge. Let's give it a bite. That's good. Sweet. The sweetness of the rib goes good with the sweetness of the King's Hawaiian bun. Perfect. This is good. Homemade McRib. I think I'm about to come up with a name for this. Anyway, it worked out just fine. I've never, cooked a whole rack and try to remove the bones. That technique really, really worked. You almost have to overcook the ribs a little bit just to make sure those bones get loose. But it's perfect. It worked great. And this is really good. I'm going to eat. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys next time. Take care.